Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to do a book review. It's been a while since I've done a book review, and so I think that it's high time that I start doing them again. And so I'm just going to do some of the books that I think are great and maybe not talked about as much or not as popular, and I want to spread the word about them. So the book that I'm going to be reviewing today is The Cloud Roads by Martha Wells. This is the first in the Books of Raksura series by Martha Wells. First off, I'm going to quickly read the back of the book because it's kind of hard for me to explain anything without it, and I think it does a decently good job of explaining what's obviously going to be happening in the book. Moon has spent his life hiding what he is, a shapeshifter able to transform himself into a winged creature of flight. An orphan with only vague memories of his own kind, Moon tries to fit in among the tribes of his river valley with mixed success. Just as Moon's true nature is once again discovered, and he is cast out by his adopted tribe, he encounters a shapeshifter like himself, someone who seems to know exactly what Moon is, who promises that Moon will be welcomed into his community. What the stranger doesn't tell Moon is that his presence will tip the balance of power, that his extraordinary lineage is crucial to the colony's survival, and that his people face extinction at the hands of the dreaded Fel. Moon must overcome a lifetime of conditioning in order to save himself and his newfound kin. Basically, this is a high fantasy adult novel that is set in a world that's nothing like ours. In this world, there are tons and tons of different species of humanoid-like creatures. And they describe them in the book multiple times and just briefly, and they each have their own set of rules and customs and languages. None of the languages are actually flushed out and talked about or shown that they're written out or anything, but they each have their own language. And there's three main groups of different types of people, I guess you'd say. There are the groundlings, which are the people that live on the ground, and then there's people that fly all the time, so they live in the sky, and then there's the people that live under the water, and so they're kind of separated and they're different zones. And every race that's a groundling, every groundling race is under threat by this one race called the Fel, who've been invading and taking over everybody and killing a bunch of people, and they've been just spreading and trying to grow, and everyone hates them, and everyone is afraid of them, and wants them to be just taken care of and gone. And the book isn't actually that long, and for her to include all of these things in this one, the book is less than 300 pages. So to include all of that in a small book is very impressive, I think, and she does it very well. Another cool aspect of the geography of this world is that there are floating islands, and they just kind of move around the earth, or wherever the world is called. When you first find Moon, he's living in a groundling society, and he's trying to fit in, and so he hides the fact that he can turn into this winged creature, and he doesn't really know what that part of him is, and he has to keep it a secret, or else people will hate him, because when he turns into it, he looks like one of the Fel, and everyone hates them, so they want to get rid of him or kill him or that kind of thing. And at the beginning of the book, someone finds out that he can turn into this creature, and they try to kill him, and because of that, he kind of runs into someone that is the same species as him, and so they talk and stuff, and he convinces him to come with him to their community and promises that he'll be accepted. And he starts to explain what he is. He's called a Raksura, which is just this type of groundling that can turn into a flying creature if it wants to, but it also has a groundling form. The society of the Raksura are actually very interesting. It's kind of built it's kind of like bees. You know how they have the queen bee, and then they have all the workers, and they have male bees that just breed with the queen and stuff like that. It's kind of similar in that way with the Raksura. They have the hierarchy is there's a queen, but there's also secondary queens that kind of are beneath the main queen, but also have all the powers that a queen has. And then the males that breed with the queens, they're called consorts, and they hold a lot of power within the community as well, but obviously not as much as a queen. So the Raksura, there are two types of Raksura. There are the Ariots, and there are the Abora, which the Ariots are ones that can transform and turn and have wings when they transform into their Raksura form, and then the Aboras, and the Aboras are ones that when they turn into their Raksura form, they don't have wings, and they just, stay on the ground. There are 6 main characters of the story, I would say. Obviously, Moon is one of the main characters, and you follow him the whole time, and you experience this journey with him. But there's also Jade, who is one of the minor queens, the sister queens they're called, and so doesn't have like all the power, but she has some cool powers and stuff like that. And her and Moon become like, Jade's kind of like the main love interest in the story, but it's not too heavy and it's believable, their situation and their relationship, and I enjoyed seeing that grow and expanded, and how it happened was pretty good, and I'm not going to say anything else or else I'd ruin it. Then there's Chime, who is a really strange case because he used to be an Abora and then for some reason he turned into an Ariat, and so that's like kind of weird. He used to be a mentor, but then now he lost those abilities when he gained wings, so that's really cool. And Chime's like Moon's best friend, I would say, and he changes a lot in the novel. I would say that like at the very beginning he's one way, and then he grows close to Moon, and then he like gets really comfortable and like gets out of his shell a little bit, which I found like all the characters really like show some amounts of growth and change, and I really think that that's important. I think that was really cool to read about. Flower is a mentor, and so she is an Abora that can do special powers and such, and she has like special knowledge that everyone else doesn't have, and it's really cool to see like those abilities, and you guys know that I really like abilities and like superpowers and stuff like that, so that was really cool. And if I was going to be an Abora, I would definitely want to be a mentor. Then there's Pearl, who is the reigning queen, the main queen, and she doesn't really get along with the other main characters of the book. She's very opinionated, and she has her own way that she wants everything to go, and she doesn't really take anyone's advice, and she's just like, she's so annoying, but then like you also like understand where she's coming from, and so she's just one of those characters that you don't really like that much, but then you understand why she's there, so like whatever. And the last one that I would say is a main character would be Stone, who is the Rexura that Moon meets at the beginning of the book, and you learn about him, and he has a big influence on the colony, and he has like all this backstory that unfolds throughout the whole thing, and it's very interesting, and I really like all the characters. They're well rounded, and they have flaws which I think are nice, and they're realistic. I mean, realistic in terms of like the fantasy world and stuff like that. The plot is very fast paced, I would say. I didn't really have any problems where it would like lag or anything like that. I think that I had a really hard time putting the book down, actually. I just read and read and read, and I stayed up really late reading, and I think I stayed up until like 5 a.m. reading this book because I thought it was so good. There's a lot of action in the book. There's a lot of just like kind of fight scenes a little bit, but they're not like long fight scenes, and you're not drawn out, and they don't get boring. And there's romance, and there's drama, and it's just like, it's good. I like this book. For my personal rating, I said this already in one of my other videos, that I gave it a 4.25 stars out of 5 stars because I really did like it, and I will continue along with the series, but it wasn't like the best book I've ever read, and like I've been reading a lot of good books recently, so I guess that's not really fair. But yeah, if you're interested in something high fantasy adult that has a lot of different creatures and flying and abilities and war and romance, I would say this is the book for you. I highly recommend it, and I guess that's it. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and comment down below if you find this book interesting, or you're going to check it out, or if you have any books that sound similar that you think I would like. Leave those down in the comments, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!